Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie, and I'm just coming on for doing a quick video, a little bit of an update. You know that the chemical attacker is being searched for, and the guy who attacked his ex-partner and her two children in a chemical attack, Abdul Ezedi, is being searched for in the River Thames, as we looked at yesterday, because police seem to think, because of CCTV footage and the fact that nobody's seen him since then, they seem, and he wasn't seen coming away from the bridge over the Thames. The police feel that he did throw himself into the Thames, and they are looking for him. Search boats, sonar, I suppose, are going backwards and forwards on the Thames. And they had said that it may take a while for them to find him because the Thames is a fast-flowing river. And so he may have been carried away from where he's thought to have jumped off the bridge, off Chelsea Bridge. And now it transpires that while they've been looking for him, they have actually found two bodies a mile apart from each other. And this is very sad, isn't it? I mean, how can I say, it's not exactly good news, is it? But there'd be somebody who's missing their loved one. There'd be two sets of families, two sets of friends who are missing their loved one. Who'll have been missing, and they're going to be finding out, at least I suppose, what happened to them. But of course it's very sad. It's not good news. I suppose at the end of the day, the police can't just keep sort of going up and down the river looking for bodies day in, day out. But I'd like to know eventually the backstories of these people. Were concerns raised that they may have jumped in the river, and why is Abdul Ezedi being looked for when these, I think they're both men, I believe so, these two men were not looked for, or was it not even known, that they'd gone into the river for whatever reason of their own accord, or suspicious circumstances? I mean, there'll be little chance of finding out exactly what happened to them, I suppose. But anyway, the first body was found near the HMS Belfast in the central area, but the second was out further east along the river at Limehouse, which is an inlet from the river. Now, I'm not very familiar with London, and I am familiar with the Thames from when I lived in Reading. The Thames goes through Reading as well. It's a very pretty river. People use it for all sorts of things, kayaking, and there are barges on there in Reading. I'm talking about, of course, in the Thames, it's bigger. I think the river in Reading is smaller. I was trying to sort of think about it and remember more about it. It's funny because we notice all these river things now and then. I lived years near a river, the Thames, 8 years lived there, and we went walking there all the time. Never even thought of it as, I think about rivers now. Just thought of it was quite pretty, and never thought about all these sad things that circulate around a river. So yeah, the bodies of two men. However, the Met don't believe either person was linked to Ezedi. So I suppose they'll know from the decomposition that it can't be Ezedi. Maybe, if they were skeletal remains. But they were called into two separate discoveries of two dead bodies. So one quite central near the HMS Belfast. If you're familiar with London, you might know more than me about, I'm not familiar with London and the Thames, so I don't really, if you live in around there, or you're just familiar with it, you'll know perhaps better than me the actual geography of the finding. So near the HMS Belfast yesterday morning, Saturday morning at 10:13 a.m. And the second was further east, and it was found not long after, though, along the river at Limehouse at 10:39 a.m. Just 26 minutes between each of the reports, just under a mile from each other. So is that maybe because it's near a bridge, and if those people did delete themselves, I suppose it's likely you would find bodies near a bridge. And of course, we don't know the identity of these bodies. We don't know how long they were in there. So they haven't released any more information than that, just to say that they have found 2 bodies. Now, of course, this does happen quite often when when the police are looking for bodies, they find other people, other deceased people. This is what happened recently with Suzanne Morphew, wasn't it? Barry Morphew over in the USA. Her body was found, but they were actually searching for a lady called Edna. Let me just check her name. So as far as I know, I don't think they've found that lady yet. Let me just check. Yeah, they were actually searching. The Colorado Bureau of Investigation found human remains while they were searching for Edna Quintana, 55, who disappeared in May. But they've now identified those remains of Susan Morphew, who was a lady who disappeared a long, long time ago. And it was, people were starting to think she would never be found. She was a missing person. Her husband, Barry, is under suspicion. But as far as I know, I don't think there's actually been any charges made. So let's see, have they found Edna? Don't think they have found Edna Quintana. And of course, Shannon Gilbert, the Gilgo Beach murders, a serial killer case that's coming. The trial will be coming up very soon, of Rex Howman. It was Shannon Gilbert's remains they were looking for when they found the murdered girls and started off the investigation into the Gilgo Beach serial killer. And Shannon herself Shannon Gilbert is not thought to have been one of his victims. Just during the search for her, they found all these other victims. So it's quite ironic, isn't it? That by searching, how something can come up in the search. They still have not found Edna, as far as I can see anyway, in these headlines. Edna Quintana, 55 years old, has been missing since May the 3rd. And they're still looking for her. So makes you wonder, and another person, of course, like a famous case, if you like, was the case of Brian Laundrie and Gabby Petito. Several bodies were found while looking for Gabby's body. And actually, that is a case where social media did solve that case. Because if it weren't for, armchair detective sleuths, as they rudely call them, or they're snarky about them, her van would not have been seen, captured on a dash cam. And then her body was located in that area. I don't know if Gabby, because it was such a remote area, I don't know if Gabby's remains would otherwise have been recovered, which I know is cold comfort, because it doesn't bring Gabby back, but I'm sure it was a huge comfort to her family. 9 bodies were found across the country during the manhunts for Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie. 9 bodies, so I think tonight I may do, well, at some point I definitely will be doing a live stream about this, because I think it's very interesting, isn't it? How something positive, now we don't know the situation of those 9 people. Were they accidental deaths, or, Gabby Petito's case was very famous all over the world, wasn't it? Because I think because of the amount of social media that she herself had made, she was a YouTuber herself, a TikToker, YouTuber, Instagrammer. And so it did attract a massive amount of attention. And of course, then there was the manhunt for Brian, and then the fact that Brian took his own life. Oh, and now there's a lot of speculation about his parents. Did they know about it all? So that case has been headline news all over the world. And as a consequence, talking of positive things coming out of negative things, Gabby's family have recently founded the Gabby Petito Foundation to aid missing persons and domestic violence cases. So yeah, I think we'll look at all that maybe later on today, but I just wanted to let you know what I thought was quite it makes me thoughtful, this, about, just makes you wonder, doesn't it? I've gone so much rivers now. I had thought about a river cruise, but I don't think I'll be bothering now. There's something about rivers now just give me the creeps, because you just don't know, what's in there. And I suppose the Thames is, to me, the Thames is a river. Looking at it there, and you can see how big it is, and apparently it's quite fast flowing. If you were, seriously contemplating doing something to yourself, you may do it there, because it's a place where you're likely to not survive. I do still think that at St. Michael's on Wyre, it's not a suicide spot. It's not a spot where people go to delete themselves, because it's not that sort of place. There are places that people do tend to go to do these kind of things, and the Thames is probably one of them. But in my opinion, St. Michael's is not. But anyway, that's for another video. So yeah, I just thought I'd let you know of it. It's 2 bodies found. Will they find Abdul? I hope they do, because if they don't find him, I think there's going to be so much conspiracy theory, etc., and so much speculation. Now, I don't know about Abdul's family, if he has family here. As you know, I'm totally outraged that he was ever allowed to stay here. He was ever given refugee status when he had 2 offences, sexual offences on his record, but they were deemed not significant enough to cause him to not get asylum. That is terrible in my eyes, because I'd like to see those victims and ask them if they thought those attacks were significant enough. And now he's carried on and done this awful thing to his ex-partner and traumatized. So his ex-partner is still in hospital with life-changing injuries, still not well enough to even speak to the police. Her children are okay, but they'll be traumatized. And who are they with? Are they with family, or have they been put into care? I mean, what this man has done, this Abdul, I do not. I try to feel sympathy for people, but not him. You know, he's a prime twonk. You know, it's hard to find any sort of sympathy for this guy. So I just hope they find him. So that puts that to rest, because if they don't find him, I think it'd be, it just be awful. As much as for her when she recovers, the thought of him still being out there somewhere. I hope he isn't out there somewhere, and I hope they do find him. And then, because that poor woman, even when she recovers, she will never rest while he is possibly still out there after what he's done. And her children too, who are only 3 and 8. So they've got a long time of trauma to get over. Anyway, so I just thought I'd let you know. I hope you're having a great Sunday. I'll see you very soon in the next video. And until then, may your God go with you. Bye.